So some fans of Avatar aren't really looking forward to the live action. They would much rather a different kind of series. Let's talk about that today. Hey y'all, welcome to the Geek Talk. Today, let's discuss the idea of having a series that has nothing to do with the live action, has nothing to do with, a retread of any of the old franchises. Let's talk about something new. So over the past few weeks, as I've been talking more and more about the past lives of the avatars, we were talking about Avatar Zito, we were talking about the Avatar Kaza, as she's being called in the fan base, the no-armed avatar that does have arms, and some of the other ones. Like some of you guys keep mentioning the food bender, I like to call him, the airbender who has like triple four chins or whatever. And then there's some other, interesting looks of these other characters. So what it seems like people are asking for, and I have seen it in the comments, is that wouldn't it be awesome if we had an anthology series of all of the past lives? Now, I don't quite agree with all of that statement. I don't think we should have an anthology of every single avatar if we're gonna be basing it off of Roku's explanation, which I think is an embellishment of how many past lives there were. That means we will have 1,000 1,000 stories to tell. I think it's definitely more in the hundreds in terms of the amount of avatars that there have been. But I think that it will be really interesting to have an anthology, not in the sense of just having one animation style, in the sense that we would just get like another Tales from Ba Sing Se, but with just, different avatars and different eras and different lifetimes. I think it would be really cool if this anthology was done as something similar to the Animatrix or Love, Death, and Robots, whereas we would get different stories and each story would take on a very different look. So we would be able to see Avatar in a different light. Each time we get a new story, we could see something in full CG like we saw on that Twitter page not too long ago. We could get, a completely different kind of animation style, maybe something more based in American animation, like traditional animation in the States, or, something completely bizarre or experimental. You can start messing with like claymation, like all these chibi, there's so many possibilities. But I think even beyond that, the anthology series could be even a multimedia project similar to what Star Wars did back in 2002 to 2005 with the original Clone Wars continuity, whereas that was being done through video games, books, comic books, movies, of course, and all of that. And I think that would be super dope, and it wouldn't even have to be that long. And because the issue with that is that, and it's something that I had misgivings about when I was talking to people in the comments, was that, I don't know if I want to get stories about each and every avatar, because that's going to make the world feel so much more smaller and they won't have any space to work into new stories. But I think if you're doing it as an anthology, if you're just doing a little vignette about, a certain avatar, very similar actually to the way the original Clone Wars series was, where you're just getting little snippets about what's happening here and there within the Clone Wars. You can see snippets about different eras of the Avatar franchise and getting insights about, this avatar, that avatar, and maybe just one big moment, maybe the thing that makes that avatar legendary. We can see that moment, on display, or maybe just them on their normal day-to-day. Like we might be able to see Avatar Zito just, doing paperwork or whatever, or dealing with, the political landscape of the Fire Nation. And if it's done this way, then we don't have to worry about the world feeling too small, because you're not really telling the full life story of each avatar. You're just showing a moment in their life, and you can still expand on those stories with, future works, whether we're talking about continuing it with comic books or we're talking about continuing it with other TV shows. And also, it's kind of a good way of just kind of testing the waters for different animation styles, different teams, different stories, different kinds of storytelling, to see which one sticks with the fan base and be like, oh, I really like that short from that anthology, or I really like that short from that anthology. And then you can kind of take that and then say, hey, this is what the new series is going to be about. It's going to be about this avatar that came from this anthology. I think that would be an amazing idea. I think it would be really cool to do something like that. The only thing I worry about in terms of this happening, or how practical it actually is I don't know how far Avatar's reach is. Like, even though I know that, Netflix, The Last Airbender was on the top 10 or the number one spot for several weeks, same with Korra, I still for some reason feel not confident. I feel like that this fan base and this franchise still feels kind of insular, and it doesn't feel like it's quite hit like the true zeitgeist. I feel like, people who are into animation and grew up with the show really love it, but I haven't really seen it, hit like the world stage in the same way that Star Wars and Harry Potter has, but I wanted to, and this could possibly be a way of doing that. But also, it's such a weird thing. Like if you look at Love, Death and Robots, it's again, that's just a very niche audience for that. If you look at Animatrix, that's a very niche audience for that. Even within those fan bases, well, not with Love, Death and Robots, because that's completely original, but in terms of like, you know, the Matrix, not everyone who calls themselves a Matrix fan has seen Animatrix. But still, I think I would love seeing this. I want to know if you guys would like seeing something like this, an anthology series about the avatars in the past lives, so that we get small little snippets of them. I think it would be pretty cool. But that's it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.